I'm all delayed and all over the place. I'm sorry. Hi, welcome to my live. I put this picture up in front of my face because I don't care if you see my face. So welcome. I just wanted to give like a quick little PSA. And I know I probably will get hate for it, and like normal, I usually do. It's okay. I'm used to it. When I say things like this, but it's the truth. Like, I got into an argument this morning. I'm not going to say who, what, where, when, or whatever like that, other than this morning. And I just have to say, you know, this is a topic that comes up often, and unfortunately, the case that Brendan's involved in involves multiple different people, and it involves, well, basically his whole entire family, in a sense that his whole entire family, you know, law enforcement used his whole entire family and everything. Hey, TTM fangirl. And it's hard when you're looking at suspects and you're looking at evidence, and some people look more suspicious than other people, and you're trying to piece together the pieces and all that stuff. But I don't feel like I have to say this, or I should say this, but I do have to say this, is that Brendan loves and feels his whole entire family is innocent. Period. And you don't have to believe that anybody in his family is innocent. You really don't. Like, if you believe certain people are guilty, that's your opinion, right? Everyone's entitled to their own thoughts, their own opinions. But when you're going to do something for Brendan, and it involves Brendan, and you're going to bash one of his family members, he's not going to want to be a part of it. Is that he appreciates all the love and support he gets from everybody. He really does. There's not anything out there that you guys are doing that he doesn't appreciate, as long as it's positive. And unless it's bashing his family, that's the only time where he's going to have, like, I don't want to be a part of it. And, like, why would you? Why would you want to be a part of something that's bashing your parents or your brothers or, you know, whoever? Like, we all come from different family backgrounds, right? I love my parents, but they're not perfect. There's things that they've done in the past that I've had, you know, issues with, and I've worked through those issues, but I still love my parents. Now, I guess if I was involved in something like this and it did involve the rest of my family in the same capacity as it does with Brendan, it would still bother me if you were bashing my family. So, even if there were people who were doing things that didn't come off very nice or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He loves his whole family. And I mean everybody in his family. You know what I mean? He does love his whole family. Even some of the people, if you don't think he does, he really does. And he just wants them to be happy and healthy and out there living their life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he wants Steven out just as much as he wants out. I'm gonna speak up though if I see something and somebody's doing something in Brendan's name that is bashing like one of his brothers, and I'm gonna say Brendan wouldn't like that. And that's not me trying to insult you, it's just the truth. You could ask Brendan yourself. He wouldn't like that. And that's not me trying to fill some sort of agenda. That's not me trying to cover up for anything. That's just me speaking on his wishes. That's just how he is. Like, he just does not want people bashing his family. And, you know, keep doing what you're doing. If that's what you want to do, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you from, you know, expressing your thoughts and feelings. And you just got to understand that that's not something Brendan wants to be associated with. Right? So it's just something to keep in mind. He really, Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, everything's fine. It's just I feel like I have to say this every like 2 or 3 times a year because there's just stuff that happens that I don't know, like, and and there's plenty of people out there who research into the case who have their own thoughts and feelings, and I have nothing personal against them. If you think somebody in Brendan's family did it, there's nothing, you're entitled to your feelings. I don't agree with that. I personally am one of those people where you need to show me hard evidence and facts proving that somebody is guilty. And I'm sorry, like there's nobody in his family that shows hard evidence and facts that anybody is guilty. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence and stuff that could have been looked at and things that could have been investigated. I think we can all agree with that. They pretty much looked at Stephen and thought Stephen was the guy, and no matter what, we're going to get him. And they made things fit into that, and there was nothing anybody could do. The police manipulated the whole family, in my opinion. But do I think anybody in the family did this? No. So that's just my personal opinion. And that's not something I necessarily try to push on people. But I do say the fact is that Brendan just does not want people bashing his family. So on things that I do personally, like this channel, Facebook group and all that, that's how we keep it. We honor Brendan's wishes. That doesn't mean you have to be friends with the family. It doesn't mean you have to do anything other than just respect the fact that that's his wishes. It just means don't bash his family. At least in the places that I run, right? Nobody's, you don't have to be best friends with his mom or dad or anybody. But yeah, like I said, I just felt like I needed to come on here and say that. Kind of vent a little too, because like I said, I kind of got in it with somebody over it. And it's not anybody is brainwashing Brendan. That's the other thing. Nobody here is brainwashing Brendan into liking his family. Are you kidding me? Ask anybody how they feel about if you were to bash their family, and they would say they wouldn't like it. Nobody would like having their mom or dad or siblings bashed. Right. Brendan has enough to deal with. He's stuck in a prison possibly for the rest of his life since the age of 16 years old. And he really, he doesn't really want to deal with the drama or the bullshit. And he especially doesn't want to hear about how awful everybody thinks his family is, right? He loves his mom and he loves his dad. And and I don't believe anybody in the family did anything, but I just got to say it like this. Even if somebody did do something in the family that landed him there, Brendan's still going to love them. And that's just, he's just still going to love them. He's always going to love his parents. He's always going to love his brothers. He might have to deal with that in a different way. That might be something he might have to, process. And, I do hope that the real killers, no matter who they are, is sent to prison and Brendan and Stephen are let out. But at the end of the day, he's still going to love his family. That's never going to change. You never stop loving your parents. Exactly. The family is innocent. Everyone has their opinions, and Brendan's wishes are not to bash his family, so don't do it. Exactly. And if you're going to do it, just understand Brendan doesn't want a part of it. You know, we're all free thinking adults here. You know, if you're honest and, you know, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do in life. But if you're going to bash his family in any kind of way of supporting him, he's not going to want to be a part of it. And that's just how it is. He doesn't even like it when you bash his friends, people that he's good friends with. He doesn't like that either. So, I mean, like, who would? Who would honestly like that? And that's something you got to ask yourself. Even if you have a really horrific childhood, something that involves your family or something that involves abuse, like even deep down in your core, as a child, you're always going to love your family. And it's really hard to accept and acknowledge it. And some people refuse, you know, I've talked to a lot of people about this topic, and like one person's like, no, I'll never love my mother or whoever because of what they did to me. And I can honestly say, like, I feel deep down inside, though, that little girl or boy in you who was going through that still loved them. They still loved them deep down inside. And that's a different topic altogether, but, like, you know, and everyone's got to realize Brendan, he has thousands of supporters around the world, and he loves and appreciates every single one of you guys. But his family, they're the ones that visit him, and they're the ones that also give support. And, you know, it may not be in the same ways that we all think it should be. Because I know a lot of people say, like, you know, I don't know where I was going with that, actually. Sorry, I got distracted. My phone went off and I looked down at it and I lost my train of thought. I saw a squirrel moment. I'm so sorry. But yeah. What was I saying? What was it? Anyway. Yeah, who would spend their energy bashing people when we should be working together to get him home? His family is suffering along with him. Yeah. You know, and that's the other thing. His family is suffering a lot too. I got into an argument, and now I'm all redheaded hotness. I'll have to tell you later, Dark Side. I just, like I said, every once in a while, I feel like I have to say this. Like, Brendan loves his family. He does not like it when you bash his family. He does not support the things that people do that bash his family. That's it. If you're going to do something that's going to bash his family and be deliberately mean or whatever, he's not going to support it. He's not going to back it. And it's not because anyone's brainwashing him. It's not because anybody said this or said that or whatever. That's his own personal wishes and feelings. That's his own thing. He does not, you know, that's his own thing. That's coming from him. He does not like it. Nobody is manipulating him like that. Nobody, I mean, it's just like with anybody else. I don't get along with a few people in my family, and that being said, if you were to bash those people, I would still defend them and tell you to stop because that's my family. Only I can bash my family, right? It's kind of the same thing, right? If you think about it, you know, his mom and dad, he loves his mom and dad. They do everything that they can for him and within their power to do what they can for him. And he loves them, and he just doesn't want people to do that, you know. And everyone, like I said, if you have your opinions on who did what in the case, you know, everyone's entitled to that. I'm not saying you can't be here. Just, you can't bash the family, at least on this channel or in the Facebook. And if you do it outside of here, you just got to understand, especially if I come across it, I might say something, but I don't mean it insulting. Especially if it's like, you know, me saying like, Brendan really wouldn't want you to to write something like that and in his name and send it to Governor Evers, you know? Let's take that for instance. If you were writing a postcard and you wrote Bobby is guilty on it and you sent it to me and you said, how do you think this? Should I send this to Governor Evers? I'm going to say, Brendan wouldn't really want you to say that because he doesn't feel Bobby is guilty. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want, right? They have been incredibly cruel to Barb. I agree with that. And that's just what I've seen. I've seen some really awful things said about her. And I don't think it's very fair, in my personal opinion. You know? People are just being mean to everybody out there, Rhonda. People be crazy out there. I don't know if they've been mean directly to them. I just saw something and I kind of... My problem is that I log on to Facebook and I see something and then I get angry and I come on here and I vent. So don't think that anything in particular happened. Right, that's the thing. You don't... Barb's living a nightmare. I don't know if people like... You know, she's just lost... She's living a living nightmare. She's living, like, Linda says this a lot, and it's the truth. Barb's living her mom's nightmare. You know, Ma Avery spent so many years fighting for Stephen. And Stephen, who was incarcerated for pretty much almost his whole life, he only spent, like, what, 21 years out of prison, and he's spent more than half his life in prison. And Ma Avery has done nothing but fight for him, right? And you know, and then it happens to Barb. You know, her son went away at 16 years old, who was younger than Stephen, and she's just like, I couldn't, like, I as a person, like, I as a friend of Brendan who cares about Brendan a lot, I have a hard time sleeping, and like, I don't know, it's just like it hits me throughout the day sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine if that was my kid. I don't know how somebody, I honestly don't know if I could get out of bed every day if my kid was in the same position Brendan was in. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's what drives me to keep doing what I'm doing for Brendan, is because my thought is that I'm just this okay, I'm just this like person who is a nobody, who lives in Arizona, who's like 2,000 miles away from Wisconsin, who can't, like, I'm not a law expert, I'm not in anything special. I wipe butts for a living, and and what can I do as just me to help somebody like Brendan who's facing this nightmare? I don't know. Hi, Facebook user. I don't know who you are coming up as Facebook users, but you know, but that's what drives me to keep doing what I do, is because it's like, if this was my family member or anybody, like, if like, what can I do to make him more comfortable? What can I do to help? And that's what I do. Like, I try to help him. And but if this was like my own kid, I don't know how Pete and Barb, you know, you just have to keep going. But that's why, you know, and even when Pete says, just think if you're in my shoes, I don't know if I can mentally think like that, because even if it was my niece or nephew, it's awful. It's a nightmare. But you just have to keep going. Yeah, and they blame her. You know, and I think that's what people tend to forget, is that, you know, she's just as much of that whole family. You can see it in that phone call from Bobby, or not phone call, the interview with Bobby and that other dude, I can't remember his name. when they interviewed Bobby. Mystic Jinx has the interview up on her profile, on her YouTube. If anybody wants to go check it out, I think it shows 100% how Bobby was just as manipulated and is innocent as any other person. And it's confused. He didn't know what was going on. That it didn't sound like a guy who knew what was going on and knew, you know, oh, I definitely did it, and they're thinking Steven did it. Like, no, it sounded like a guy who was actually defending his uncle and his family. You know? Saying his family didn't do it, that it's a conspiracy. Yeah, they all did. I don't understand. A lot of them should have asked for a lawyer, and I don't think they knew better, to be honest with you. I don't think they understood what their rights were. And that's why it's important that we put out there, you know, anytime you talk to a police officer, ask for a lawyer. 100%. But yeah, Barb is, like I said, I don't know how, and I'm not a mother, so I can't relate in that term. Like, I have a dog and I have a cat and I love them a lot, and I call them my baby. Like, I hold Ginger like she's my baby, and I'll say my baby. She's looking at me right now. Like, what? Me? Yes, you. You're the baby. But Jinx. But I can't relate on that same level because I don't have kids, and while I have nieces and nephews and I'd die for them, like, legit, it's just a little bit different. Yeah. I think I think a lot of it too was just confusion in that interview. Like, I didn't see a kid who was guilty. I saw a kid who was confused about what was going on, and there was a lot of stuff going on. You know, they just took pictures and DNA swabs and fingerprints, and now they're sitting there telling, like, I don't know. That's a lot to process in, you know, a condensed time, and they're pretty much telling him, you can't leave, you have to talk to us, you know, like, I mean, I would definitely speak up and say something too, but, like, I'm also a 35-year-old adult, you know, so I gotta look at it as if I was 18 again, and I don't know, I'd probably start crying, because when I was 16, I ran my car into a ditch on accident. I wasn't drunk or anything, and it was in this middle of this road in between where I live and another town, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I ran my car into a ditch thinking it was a pole, like a one that you can pull over and turn around in, but it wasn't. It was a ditch, and some guy had to pull over, and he helped me get my car out of the ditch, but somebody else called 911, and as I was and the lady was like, you better not leave because 911's coming. And I was like, oh no, my parents were out of town. And when they came and they talked to me, and the guy, you know, was standing there, and I was standing next to my car, my little sister and her friend were there, and they were crying, and I was trying to be all brave and shit, and he was shining the light in my face, and he kept asking me over and over, were you drinking? Were you doing drugs? Were you drinking? Were you doing drugs? I think you were drinking, weren't you? If I tested you, would you? And I just started crying. Like, it was intimidating and scary, and, you know, we just crashed the car into the ditch, and now you're shining a light in my face. And it's like, no, sir, I'm just an idiot. I'm not drunk. I'm just an idiot. Like, so, you know, if you take you back to yourself when you were a child, and having yourself face authority like that, and they're basically trying to accuse you of something, you know, how are you going to react to that? Are you going to, like, as a 35-year-old, I'm a little bit different, right? And I could stand there just fine and say, I was not drinking. I know my rights, you know. No, you cannot search my car. Am I free to go? But as a kid, it's like I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what I was allowed to say or do. Even if my parents used to tell me all the time, don't talk to cops, don't let them search your car. And I didn't let them search my car, but that was because the fear of my dad being more upset at me than the cop was, but still, if they said you can't leave this scene, I wouldn't know any different. I thought I couldn't leave the scene when they called 911. I could have left. There was nothing keeping me there. But that's what I mean, though. You got to look at it from that perspective of what Bobby and Brendan and even Blaine and Brian were going through. They were kids. And yeah, Bobby was 18 or 19 or something like that. Like, I'm sorry, you're still a kid. You still have the kid mentality in your head. So, but yeah, anyway, I go off on ranting on something else, but that was basically my message that I wanted to convey in this, is that, everyone's entitled to your opinion, but, Brendan's wishes are just simply right. Exactly. Exactly. Most of us thought the truth mattered until a few years ago, that if you're innocent, you didn't have anything to worry about. That's exactly it. That's why I tell people all the time when people are like, well, and I say this in defense of Bobby, right? They say, well, if Bobby is innocent, then he has nothing to worry about. He comes from a family where one person was wrongfully convicted twice, and his little brother, 16 years old, was wrongfully convicted. And they're still incarcerated. You can't tell me that fear doesn't live in him. Just because you're innocent doesn't mean you don't have anything to worry about in America. How many people are wrongfully convicted all the time? Hold on. Facebook user speaking Spanish. No la enseñó. Oh, there's no captions for Spanish? Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a good point. That's a good point. The only people that are responsible for Brendan and Stephen being wrongfully convicted is the corruption of law enforcement. That's exactly. There were a lot of things that we can do if I was there, and if. But the fact of the matter is that nobody really knows what's going to happen until you're there. Nobody knows how they're going to react until they're there. The only people that I believe that are solely responsible for Brendan being where he is the corrupt law enforcement. And that's that. Because even if somebody else committed the crime, law enforcement was the one who planted the evidence. Law enforcement was the one who put the key there. Law enforcement was the one who put the RAV4 there. Law enforcement was the one who gave Brendan inadequate, or the corruption in the system was the one that gave Brendan inadequate representation. They're the ones who hired Len Kaczynski. They're the ones who hired the lawyer before and the lawyer after lawyer after Lynn Kaczynski. They're the ones that fixed the jury. They're the ones that did all of this stuff that got Brendan where he's at. They're the ones that forced him to sit in an interrogation room for 4 hours while slapping his knee and telling him, just tell us the truth, Brendan. Tell us the truth. Was it in your head? Was it what happened to her head or whatever? That was them. That was the corrupt law enforcement. This was a cover-up from law enforcement. Law enforcement was the one that tried to convince Bobby that Stephen did it in that interview. And that Stephen's blaming you, Bobby. What are you going to do about it? That was all law enforcement. So when people are saying, oh, and that's the other thing. Somebody said to me, and this isn't the first time somebody says this to me, and it triggers the heck out of me. Somebody said, you just want to keep Brendan where he's at because you're not admitting that it could be Bobby. I've literally dedicated my whole entire life at this point to helping Brendan out. I would love it if Brendan could come out of prison. And if somebody in his family did do it, then for all means, if there's actual evidence and proof, then do what you got to do, right? But until you show me actual physical evidence, I'm not going to believe that anybody in his family did it. Exactly. But don't insult me by saying that I want Brendan in prison. I would love nothing more than for Brendan to get out of prison and the right killer to go to prison, and so that I could go back to not worrying about postcards or not losing sleep at night thinking about if Brendan's okay. So that's what I have to say about that. And I'm sure a lot of people agree with me on that. A lot of people in the chat agree with me. Nobody wants Brendan where he's at. Brendan doesn't want to be where he's at. Yeah, I get told that a lot sometimes. Actually, I get told that a lot by people who don't agree with me. Say, well, because you don't believe so-and-so did it, that must mean you want to keep Brendan in prison. No, I just don't believe in witch hunts based off of assumptions and things that are, can't think of the word right now, but basically are assumptions and circumstantial evidence. You know, show me some hard truth and facts. Like, show me some facts. Show me some scientifically proven facts. Show me some physical evidence. But until then, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Everybody else keep doing what you're doing. Everybody in this chat or whatever, in my group or on YouTube, you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, everyone's doing a good job. And the people who are doing things that to purposely hurt Brendan, I just ask that you take a moment to pause and think, is this really going to help him? Is this really, or is this just going to hurt him? And just kind of go from there. And that's all we can do. I hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend. I'm going to be working tonight, so I'm actually going to be playing some Fortnite with my friend, and then I'm going to be going to bed, and then I'm going to wake up and go to work. But I hope everyone has a safe weekend. Enjoy your family. Do something fun and do something loving. That's what Brendan would want. He would want us to do something positive. Do, when, know where people involved in the case are at now and what their life is like. Any clues there? Are you talking about the people who are involved in putting Brendan where he's at, like law enforcement and stuff? I know Mark Wiegert is a sheriff. He's the one that interrogated Brendan. He is a sheriff, and he's retiring, so that's something. And then you've got Tom Fassbender. Last I heard is that he retired after doing detective work. Like he got a couple of awards for his work and manipulating a child, and now he is retired as well. And a lot of people have retired, actually. Ex-boyfriend, I have no idea what he's doing in his life. Last I heard, he was a nurse or something like that. And you know, the best I can say is that a lot of these people are out there living their best lives, despite what they've done to Brendan and Stephen. And the only one I could say that is getting some sort of karma back at him is Len Kaczynski, and that's because he is a total creep and asshole and has done other creepy things to other people. Oh, is he doing security in Las Vegas? Yeah, I knew he retired from being a detective. I didn't know if he was like retired, or he could be retired doing security. I mean, so a lot of them you can find online and you can see for yourself what they're doing. A lot of, like I said, a lot of the law enforcement moved on to bigger, better things. Yeah, Ken Kratz is the only one who's disappeared from it all. I believe, excuse me, Lank, is it? He's down here in Arizona somewhere. Retired, and I think he was diagnosed with some sort of cancer and is living somewhere in Arizona out here, actually. But I think I know where, but I won't say it. Yeah, Andy is also retired from law enforcement, and he is suing Netflix right now, but it doesn't look good. If you go over to Millbilly's channel, I think it's just Millbilly, like just the way that's it. He's actually been going over the Netflix Andy and the Netflix thing. I'd love to think that. I do. I would love to think that after all this time, things come out and people, like, I couldn't imagine committing a crime or committing what they've done to Stephen and his family, and them just sitting all like, just sitting there all happy and like guilt-free. Like, that's just so weird to me. I can't even lie to somebody without feeling guilty about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's suing Netflix. He's suing Netflix for defamation of character and damages due to his reputation. But I mean, one could argue, you did that stuff, you said that stuff, so I don't know what, don't say and do shit if you don't want it. Own up to the stuff you say. Own up to it, But yeah. But to make a long story short, last I heard, he was in Texas, doing he was a part of an investigation in Texas with a guy who was involved on death row. If that's not disturbing. And the person actually tried to use Mike O'Kelly's research because they call him Cell Phone Tire Mike because he does cell phone stuff too. Which, if it's anything like his lie detector test, then it's bullshit. Yes, Jen's freedom fight. I am in a constant state of needing a nap. I am like a bird. You can throw a blanket over my head and I will literally fall asleep thinking it's nighttime. But I like I said, I don't. Yeah, I always yawn. That's I'm always yawning. I'm always tired. You're never gonna catch me not tired. Because I don't. No, I'm yawning. I'm sorry, dark side. At least you're not watching me yawn. But yeah. That's just a little message I wanted to give. I just, you have to respect the fact that that's what Brendan's wishes are. He just does not. And if you have to, like, I hate to say it like this, but if you have to bash his family, then you have to understand he doesn't want to be a part of it. And that's just as simple as it is. If you don't want, if you want to respect Brendan's wishes, he's all for it. Everything that people do positive for him, he loves, he appreciates. He's always, hey, Carrie, you're back. And hey, look, there's Jazznaz. Hey, Jazznaz. But yeah. He loves and appreciates everybody. Everything positive that you do for Brendan, he loves and appreciates. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, like I said before, I always feel like every couple of months you'll see me do a live like this, just to kind of give everybody like something. I'll see something online and it'll trigger me, and I'll be like, I'm gonna make a live about it. I'm gonna talk about it because I'm all fired up and I'm upset. And then by the time I get here, I start yawning and I get tired. But anyway, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, no family bashing here allowed. Like I said, I respect everyone's. If you go out there in the world and you make a bad tweet about it, about his family, there's nothing anybody can do about that. That's your right to do. You just got to understand Brendan doesn't like it. And Nosy, I miss you. I have some abandonment issues with Nosy because she got a job. And she doesn't talk to me as much anymore. Yeah, just spread love. I miss you too, Nosy. But yeah, just spread love. Just think, is this something? Here's what I do. I have I have multiple inspirations in my life, but I have two main inspirations in my life. Brendan and Eric Cozy, as far as the supporter stuff goes, right? I asked myself, is this something kind that Brendan would like? Is this something that Brendan would appreciate? Is this something that would be helpful for Brendan? Those are the things that I ask myself, and I'm human too, and I make mistakes. So I'm not saying I'm a perfect angel out there, but those are the things that I keep in mind. Like, is this going to be helpful? Is this going to be kind? Is this necessary to say? you know, and sometimes my mind's like, yes, I have to say it, or else I will explode and die. But you know what I mean. You know, and the same thing goes with Eric Cozy. Is this something that Eric Cozy would appreciate? Is this something that Eric Cozy would support too? You know, would he be okay with the way you're presenting yourself? You know, those kinds of things that I ask myself in my head when it comes to supporter stuff and all that, like as far as what I put out there. You know, I try to find, I try to be the best version of myself I can be when I'm in my supporter hat. Cozy, keep it classy for Stephen and Brendan. Yeah, that's the thing he always used to say a lot. Keep it classy for Brendan Dassey. Yep, and we can all agree to disagree, but we can still get along. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of people I know out there that don't care for certain people in the family, that don't care that for, or that think that certain people are innocent or guilty or whatever. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but they even understand, like, you know, if you bash somebody and his family, you're gonna get, you know, then Brendan's not gonna want to have anything to do with you, and that's just, you know, and a lot of people respect that. But yeah, keep it classy for Brendan Dassey. He is a good example. He's an amazing example on kindness and compassion and love, and he's just very, like, positive and high spirited, and he's just an overall wonderful human being. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, you know, he recognized the same thing a lot of us do, is that they're going through hell. They're going through an absolutely, they're, like I said, Barb's going through hell. Pete's going through hell. Brendan's brothers, you know, they all are going through a really horrific time. And I once read a quote somewhere, and I think it was somebody, I was reading something, another woman whose son is incarcerated, and I think he was wrongfully convicted, and I forgive me for not remembering information on that, but she said something that really stuck with me. Her whole family is in that cell with her son. When one person you love goes to prison, everybody is with him. Everybody's in there with him. Your heart's in there with them. Every holiday, every birthday. Oh wow, Jen's Freedom. I'm glad you're still here, Jen's Freedom. And I hope to see you and hear more. I just want you to know that, though. I'm really glad you're here. But yeah, they're every holiday, every birthday, every occasion, graduation, even on simple things. Like, there is not a single moment where I'm having fun that I don't stop and think Brendan should be here. I know it's 10 times worse for them. You know, Brendan, and I was just saying this in messages earlier today. Brendan lost so much. Disco! But yeah, Brendan has lost so much, so many memories, so many experiences, and they've lost out on that too. They've lost out on those experiences with him too. So I had, you know, one thing I've noticed One thing that I will, and this is off topic from what we were saying, but like I've had a couple of health issues too in the last year or two. I had to have 2 surgeries actually. One was an extremely necessary surgery, and I had to have a bunch of stuff removed. And then another one was an emergency surgery because I had blood poisoning from an infection. And I've noticed once I started taking better care of my body and my health, and after those surgeries, and I got those things taken care of, and now I'm doing more stuff for me. I'm eating better. I'm taking bunches of vitamins, and I'm trying to work out more. And I've noticed that my mental health has gotten better. I mean, I have chronic anxiety, so that's it. There's days where it's better. There's days where it's worse. There's days where I could literally like rip my brain out of my head and put it in a blender, and that would feel better than having the brain in my head. But I do feel, since my body's been starting to feel better, I've been starting to feel better, and I think that makes a profound difference. So whatever it is you're going through, Jen, I hope you continue to feel better, and I hope to see you in here more, just because I want you to be here. I'm glad you're here, and I know Brendan's glad for every single person that's here too. And yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're here too, Rhonda. Yeah, mine wasn't cancer. I had a bunch of like stuff going on though. Internally, I had to have some stuff, like I had to have an ovary and a fallopian tube removed. I had a whole bunch of stuff removed. It was a pretty rough surgery, to be honest with you. I felt like I was hit by a car, but I feel 10 times better. So I can't relate to the whole cancer thing, but I am glad you're doing better. Yeah, group hug. Group hug. We're all here. I consider a lot of the supporters good friends and family to me, so. Well, that's not right now. I probably don't. Thank you. I look like I've been wearing the same shirt for 2 days and my hair is all gross, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, like, like I said, your physical health has a lot to do with your mental health, so you start taking care of yourself and taking care of some issues, you'll start to feel better. Your mental health will start to, yeah. But yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna get off of here, but let's all do something positive. Let's all keep positive for Brendan. Let's do positive things for him. I gave you all a challenge yesterday to do something nice for somebody, and I'm still going to extend that. Even if you already did it, do something nice for somebody out there. Be nice, to give a nice compliment, give a nice high five or something, open the door for somebody. Just do something, positive, and do it for Brendan, because he would do it for that. How am I trying to say this? I can't even say something profound without stumbling over it. Brendan, let's do something nice for everybody in the name of Brendan, because that's what Brendan would want us to do. And he would do it if he was out. He was free. If he was free, he would hold the door open for somebody. So let's do nice things in honor of our friend Brendan. He is. He's one of the most positive and inspirational people. Smile at people. Yep, that's a thing. If you don't smile at people, smile at people. Be nice. Let's spread some love and positivity for Brendan. Let's keep it positive for him. And one day when he comes out, then, you know, he'll be able to do all the magic that I know he can do out there. Yeah, take some pics. That's the other thing. If you're in the group, Beat Brendan Brave. If you're in the Facebook group, Brendan Talks description, or link is in the description. And go ahead and click it, and then go to the Brendan Talks Facebook group. Be Brendan Brave is summer stuff. So, you know, take some summer pictures and post them on the post. And Tuesday I'll print it out, and so Brendan can enjoy it. He loves seeing what everyone's up to and what you're doing and the theme of it. Oh, okay, yeah. Then Discord too. There's Discord. Hold on. Let me get to it. Oh, there's Discord. Hold on. Do. La la, waiting. Yeah, down here, join the Brendan Talks Discord. Oh, well, let me copy it. Hold on. There we go. Same thing, everything I do on my Facebook page, I do on Discord. Yeah, that's I like that idea too. I'm full in support, and you can do that. That's something else, you know. Here's something that I tell people to do. If, you know, do something nice in Brendan's name. Donate to a charity, pay it forward, do something like that, and tell Brendan about it. Go ahead and brag a little about it. You know, tell Brendan about it. Say, you know, somebody paid for my coffee ahead, so I paid for the person behind me, and I thought of you while doing it. He loves that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff really does brighten his day. To think, because that in a way is, if you think about it, that's how he's changing the world. He's changing the world not only legally by the laws that are happening in different states all around him, but just in general, you know, by the way that, you know, people are responding and acting like, yeah, I'll be more positive for Brendan. That's him changing, making a difference in the world. So yeah, tell him about it. He'd love to hear about it. He really would. And brag about yourself like that. It's okay. Yeah, there's the Discord link. You can view the Facebook page. Facebook and the Discord are pretty much the same thing. Like somebody pointed out, the only difference is that on the Discord page, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm on the voice chat. So you can talk to me directly. And if anybody has any questions, of course, you can ask them. A lot of people actually come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays specifically to ask me a question. I welcome all of that. We can talk case stuff, we can talk theories, anything you want to talk about, even if it's just you want to shoot the breeze with us. You know, we're very open and welcoming and friendly people. We don't bite too hard. We all have the same goal, and that's to get Brendan home. And it's the same thing for the Facebook page. You know, you can post anything supportive that you want in there. Yeah, and tomorrow is Sunday. Just no depth talk, unless you want me to start talking about poop. If you want me to start talking about poop, you know, that's what's going to happen if you talk about Johnny Depp, because I do like to talk about poop. Tomorrow is Sunday. We're going to have, so keep an eye on in the group. I'm going to probably start or have my Supermod Carrie start posting it in Discord too, so that way Discord people don't miss out. But there's going to be a new word. new fun word because we have 2 winners already. So that's really awesome. So we're going to announce that tomorrow in the group and maybe on Discord. And then there's going to be a new word. So keep an eye on that. And this morning I talked to Brendan, and we're going to have a pet judging contest coming up. I just have to pick a day, pick a week or whatever. So keep an eye on that. We're going to send pictures of our pets for Brendan to judge. And there's going to be winners and there's going to be prizes, and we're going to have fun. Lots of funs and laughs and positivity. So, yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for participating. I hope everyone has a great weekend. And like I said, let's do something nice and positive for Brendan. And keep on pushing and keep on supporting until our friend goes home. Thank you all.